The early 16th century snapping matchlock or tinder lock arquebuse is an interesting piece in firearms history. These small caliber guns were the first having a spring firing mechanism and the first to effectively peer through armor. They were the heroes of the Battle of Pavia in 1525 and also the Battle of Mohács in 1526. Our research is based on the artifacts found at the battlefield of Mohács, and using museum analogies, we build a repro of this gun for further experimental archaeology projects. While sharing the intermediate results of this research, conducted by the Mohács 500 research team of the Janusz Pannonius Museum in Hungary, I was contacted from the Municipal Armoury of Pilsen, Czech Republic, notifying that they have a large number of the same type of guns from the late 15th, early 16th century. They have 265 pieces from the period, and that's the largest collection of such weapons as far as I know today. So I visited Pilsen to examine these firearms and to provide you a detailed look about them. Pilsen is a beautiful little Czech city with great history, great people, and great beer, of course. It's well worth a visit if you travel to Europe. And visiting that armory, well, that's something very, very unique. These arquebuses are seldom found in today's collections, and seeing 265 of them in one place is like a heaven for capandball. So first of all, I would like to thank Mr. Jan Balcar, armorer of the collection, and Mr. Jiří Orna, director of the museum, for allowing me to film and examine this unique piece of collection for you. The Pilsen City Armory is the largest surviving historical weapons collection in the Czech Republic. It was founded in 1363 by Charles IV, King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor. The exhibition presents firearms, armor and cold weapons from the end of the 14th century to the middle of the 17th century. The collection mainly contains weapons that were made for the defense of the city. The value of the collection lies in the fact that it can be perfectly dated, since most of them has always been owned by the armory. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the Czech Republic. This is Pilsen, and this is the best place in Pilsen. This is the armory, and I have Mr. Jan Balcar with me, who is the armorer of the Municipal Armoury. Jan?
Despite the fact that English is for me still the foreign language, I will do my best to introduce you our exhibits.
The entrance hall is guarded by two falconet barrels of 52mm caliber that came with the troops of Graf Mansfeld during the 30 Years' War. The barrels were made in 1503 and they are cast from bronze. Peter Ernst, Graf von Mansfeld, was an experienced German military commander. Despite being Catholic, he fought for the Protestant side during the early years of the 30 Years' War. He led about 2,000 men to aid the revolting Bohemians. He took the Catholic Pilsen with a short siege in 1618. This was the first major battle of the 30 Years' War.
On the top of the barrel, you may see the cast-on screech owls.
Both these guns were used during the siege, and these were later sold to the city of Pilsen by Mansfeld himself.
The saluting cannons on the sides are of no military significance and were made of the cast iron and used for celebrations only. They are from first half of the 19th century.
In the right side of the hall, a large soldier's chest is visible from the middle of the 17th century. It was decorated with the Habsburg coat of arms, and it has a truly ingenious lock system. It was probably made in Nuremberg.
A fake keyhole is located on the front, and real keyhole is located on the top of the lid. Here you have the key, and with key we may open the lid. Locking is automatically by power of springs. Weapons in this room dates from the Hussite Wars.
None of these guns are equipped with a lock system, so they were ignited with a slow match through the punched priming pans and touch holes. There are altogether 30 guns on display. These arms were to be used as wall guns with large charges. The hooks under the muzzle reduced the recoil significantly when the gun was placed on the palisade. Many of these Hakenbüchsen have a touch hole on the side of the barrel, not on the top. They are usually punched to form a small pen also for priming powder. This method is usually associated with having a hammer to hold the match. But in these cases, there are no serpents on these guns, proving that this concept does not necessarily indicate the existence of a lock. One of the barrels is exploded at the breech, that shows 2 layers of the scalp, meeting around the mandrel when the barrel was forged. That was welded together later. This was the weak spot of this barrel.
Arquebus is of high importance because here is marked with coat of arms of the Polish noble family. It's a six-pointed star and half moon. It was Polish family Leliva.
After the death of Jan Žižka, the famous Hussite leader in 1424, his orphans, his army, helped the Polish knights against German knights. This particular gun was donated by the Polish Leliva noble family to the Hussites as a present for their service. This gun was used in the unsuccessful siege of Pilsen by the Hussites.
The Pilsen citizens make attack to the Hussites and they bring back weapons, women, and the camel.
The most important.
And the camel. And this is the way how the camel is in the Pilsen coat of arms.
Okay. In the center of the second hall lie 4 small caliber cannon barrels from the 15th century that tell a lot about how these tubes were manufactured. One has an exploded breech with the most interesting construction.
It seems like there was the barrel and this part was
tubes.
Reinforced with tubes. Yeah,
tubes.
Look at how beautiful the touch hole is.
The barrel consists of 2 tubes and a bottom plug.
Yeah.
The tubes were welded together, and the bottom plug too. Is the
yes, you can see the layers.
Tube, first tube, second tube, and this one is made from 3 tubes.
The channel.
Some markings. Channel.
Is it
channel? It's channel.
It's to make a delay.
To make
a delay.
To make
so
a delay.
I ignite and
The oldest coat of arms of the city of Pilsen was a silver greyhound, a sign of faithfulness to the Catholic Church and to the king. In 1454, the Roman Emperor Sigimundus of Luxembourg added a golden camel to the coat of arms. The reason was that the citizens of Pilsen actually captured a real camel from the Hussite soldiers during the siege of 1453. In 1466, Pope Paul II added 2 upper fields. On the left, 2 golden papal keys, and on the right, a knight holding a black eagle. The center element was added by the citizens themselves, in the second half of the 15th century with a fighter holding the stamps of the city. In the second half of the 16th century, the Catholic majority triumphed over the Protestant minority of the city, so in 1578 the Pope added the figure of an angel and the golden cross. This is still the coat of arms of the city today. In the same hall, some polearms are visible of medieval origin. These morning stars, or in German Morgenstern, were made in the 16th century, but were used also in the 17th as well.
It's the oldest arquebus in our collection, and very interesting is the barrel is not octagonal as usually, but hexagonal.
What is the supposed date when it was manufactured? What do we know about its history?
End of 14th century.
Yeah, so it is
end of 14th century.
Technically sometime where the Tannenberg büchse is, so probably the same age.
The Tannenberg büchse is a little bit older, but it's the end of the 14th century.
In the exhibition there are some large caliber cannonballs made from stone on display as well, that belong to the 15th century siege pieces called bombards or Steinbüchsen. These were short barrel, large caliber artillery pieces for destroying the walls of the fortification.
Just to give you an impression how big a Steinbüchse bullet was, made from stone, of course.
This large sandstone projectile was found during the archaeological research which took place near of Musem building. It was fired off to the Pilsen during the Hussite siege of Pilsen in between the years 1433 and 1434.
And now come the most important guns of our early 16th century research project. There are altogether 265 guns on display from the end of the 15th, beginning of the 16th century. All made with tinder lock mechanism, all made according to military standards. There are 2 types of arms here. Large caliber, heavy wall guns of 3 subtypes, 210 pieces altogether, and 55 pieces of small caliber tinder lock light guns with approximately 1 meter long barrels. Let's check the wall guns first.
The big guns here have a caliber around 20-22 millimeters, and they are quite heavy. And all of them has one kind of supporting part, which means they have a hook, or they have a place for an axis, which was actually on the wall of the fortification, because all these guns that you see here, they were belonging to the militia of the city, which means that probably they were never ever taken to any field battles. So they were part of the fortification system of the fort. All these guns are late 15th, early 16th century guns, and if you see them and you check the thickness of the bore and the caliber, you can imagine that the weight is large. So these guns were not meant to be carried on normal 2 feet and hold it offhand like this, but they must be supported. This is why they have the hooks, this is why they have the place for the axis, and this is why they have that kind of swivel system that will support it on the walls. The hook guns, they could be placed anywhere, but in case of the other type of fastening methods, there must be something on the wall as well, which can attach to the gun. So these are the hooks that were used for securing the gun on the edge of the wall of the fort. So this technically reduced the recoil of the gun, eliminated the recoil of the gun. Now this is the second type of the heavy guns. So the weight must be at least 15 to 20 kilos, I don't know because I cannot measure it, but I would love to. Look at the method for securing the gun on the wall. You can put an axis here, probably there was a screw going through here, which means that it was really an integral part of the fortification. It's rather an artillery piece and not a handgun, but in the middle. Now here's the third method for securing the gun to the wall. It is a swivel. It also needs some application on the wall to put this little metal rod into it, so you are able to turn the gun in nearly any positions. What is the age of these guns?
These guns are from the end of 15th century.
Yeah. This is a very distinctive type of lock. So this system, this snapping matchlock.
Type of lock used in Pilsen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here you can see the hammer or serpent, spring-loaded. This spring is side-mounted, and here we have hammer serre and push-button trigger. Yeah, and the hammer will be so hooked, and by pressing over the index finger, you can fire the gun. The hammer is bifurcated here to grasp the slow march.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that little...
Some hammers are bifurcated, some not. They have a tube-shaped protrusion on the end to fix the slow march.
All these heavy pieces are equipped with rear sights. Look at the form of the rear sight. This is very particular for the early 16th century, and they are dovetails, which means you can move it sideways, you can adjust it horizontally.
Many of these wall pieces have a covered rear sight with a traditional open sight inside. This method helped aiming with eliminating the reflection of the sunlight on the sights.
All the guns have pen covers, and you can see that they are not screwed, but there are bolts that are holding it in place. And the touch holes are quite large, which means at least 3 millimeters. Now you can see that there is felt padding on the buttstock. Now this is not original. This was added later for museum purposes. They try to remove it, but there is no such method for removing them right now, which won't cause any damage to the stock. Now, most of these guns are equipped with a patch box. They are small closets that you can open and put small accessories inside. And you can also see letters on the stocks. These are showing who was the owner of the gun. On the metal parts, you can see marks of the makers. They are from Pilsen, but they are very hard to identify. Look at the straight form of this stock. Now, this was surely not meant for firing the gun from your shoulder. Why? Because this is just too long to put it in your shoulder and still arrive to reaching the firing button, which means that it was somehow held under your armpit or something, but definitely not for shooting the gun from the shoulder. By the way, the form looks like very close to the one that is displayed by Giorgio Martini as the arcobuso. And also the caliber is very close to that. Okay.
Mostly are marked with marks in a shape of key or two keys, and two keys, no, papal keys,
no,
crosset, no. These keys from the Pilsen Municipal Armoury.
Yeah. So to be. The calibers we have here are quite large, and I have a permission to measure them. In some cases, the bores are the holes are oval, so which means that there are some quality problems. This is 22 millimeters. Let's measure another one. .9. Here's a bigger one. 21.9 also. Let's check a bigger one. Okay, this seems to be a large one. 22.9. So which means that this could have been the caliber for the larger pieces, the heavy pieces, let's say the wall guns, as we later call them.
There are altogether 210 tinder lock wall guns here. 3 pieces have a quite small caliber of 17.7 mm, something close to the later musket caliber. 169 pieces has a caliber of an average of 20.7 mm. 38 pieces have a caliber of average 23.2 mm. The average barrel length is around 1.1 meters and the average total length is around 1.6 meters.
Now at the bottom of this rack we have some lighter guns, which let's say they are in the size of the later muskets. They don't have the hook, and from the size we can clearly see that they were intended to be carried by soldiers, so they are not wall pieces anymore. Let's check their caliber. This one is 14.9 millimeter. This one is 15 millimeters. And this one is 15.5. And the last one is 15.1 millimeters. So they are quite small caliber, much smaller than the later muskets. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is heaven for me, because when I'm talking about the Battle of Mohács and all the bullets that you find there, you remember that I told you that we had debates about whether that caliber range that we have found on the battlefield, which means that the bullets are between 10 to 16 millimeters, but most of them are, let's say, 12 to 15 millimeters or 14 something. Now, we have 40 guns here that I can measure for you to see what kind of calibers we have here. So this is heaven for capandball, ladies and gentlemen. Many years of research, many hundreds of bullets found on the battlefield, and we have the proof for that caliber range here. Let's measure all of them. Now on this wall we have 1, 2, 3, 4 racks with 10, 10, 10 guns, so which means they are 40 guns. Now they are smaller guns, they are light guns that should be carried by one single soldier. They are also from the end of the 15th century, beginning of the 16th century. And now what I will do is examining them with brute force, so which means that I'm going to measure the caliber of all of the 40 pieces. And this will take longer, but I think that's an important information all about these guns. Okay, let's start. .5.
Now these guns are very important for our research because there cannot be any argument about their dating, and they show the characteristics of the firearms parts found at the Mohács battlefield at the village of Moés. There cannot be a question whether they are military or not.
15.1 and 15. So which means that technically there are 3 groups of calibers. There are very few that are above 16 millimeter, like 16.4 or something like that. Most of the guns are around 15 millimeters, and there is one caliber that is below that, which is between, let's say, 12 point something to 14 millimeters or 13 millimeters. So That's quite interesting. There are 3 calibers. Let's check the method of caliber marking. We have grooves on the barrel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grooves. So if you have a 5 groove barrel, that is 13.1 millimeters. Let's check one with 1, 2, 3, 4 grooves. If we have a 4 groove barrel, that is 16.3 or something like that. Let's check a barrel with 1, 2, 3 circular groove on it, which is 15 millimeters.
There are altogether 55 light arquebuses in the collection. There are 4 pieces with the caliber of an average of 17.7 millimeters. This is close to the later musket calibers. We have 35 pieces with around 15 millimeter caliber and another 16 pieces with calibers around 13 millimeters. This later group matches the caliber of the arquebus barrel found at the battlefield of Mohács. The average barrel length is around 1.07 meters and the average total length is around 1.47 meters.
Let's check the characteristics of these guns. The barrels are around 1 meter. The lock system is the same kind of tinder lock or snapping matchlock system with the pen cover, long spring loaded, and with the trigger button. The shape of the stock is very close to the ones that were later used on muskets, but of course it is straighter. We don't have a trigger, we have the button trigger here that is actuating the seal that will allow the serpent to fall forward. We have patch box on all of the guns, and of course this felt padding is not original. All these guns are equipped with rear sights. The profile of the bore is rounded with a flat part on the 2 sides, and the rear sight is dovetailed, so it can be adjusted horizontally. The front sights seems to be dovetailed also, but it can happen that it is. Oh yeah, it is dovetailed. I can see here. It is dovetailed, but the sides of the dovetail, the base, are filed into the profile of the bore.
These guns represent a unique opportunity to match the caliber range of the bullets found on the battlefield of Mohács with the guns from the period. By assuming that the round balls were 0.5 to 1 millimeter smaller than the bore, we arrived to a bullet size of 11.8 millimeter to 16.8 millimeter in case of light handguns. Exactly the range what the Mohács battlefield gave us. The last hole of the Pilsen Armoury shows a collection of more than 80 muskets from the end of the 16th century. This is a good chance to see the huge development of matchlock arms during the century, a good proof that early 16th and late 16th century arms can hardly be matched.
And these are guns for my friends at Pilsen Arms. These are muskets from the, let's say, end of the 16th century, from the time of the 15 Years' War. And they are very, very close to the ones that you manufacture, guys. I love it. The calibers are a bit larger, so these are muskets. They are not arquebuses. Probably that one is an arquebus, but it looks a bit smaller. The calibers are between 18 to 22 millimeters, so they are large caliber guns. But the overall shape of the gun and the style of the gun is exactly the same.
Most of these guns are equipped with triggers and only one with a lever. Many of them has rear sights, but most of them has only front sight, showing that the importance of aimed single shot decreased and the volley became the basic element of firearms tactics. The firearms are just one section of this wealthy collection from the Pilsen Municipal Armoury. Interesting armor are also on display from the Maximilian age to the 17th century, offering excellent information about their construction and purpose. This short presentation is only for teasing you. I strongly suggest you to visit this beautiful little city of Pilsen. There is a great knowledge here to explore. And if you are interested in the early decades of the military revolution and the birth of the modern firearms and modern firearm tactics, I think it is hard to find a better place.
The little cannon?
This little cannon was probably a gift of the city of Nuremberg to the city of Pilsen. In the rear part of barrel on the top we have both coat of arms, Nuremberg, coat of arms Pilsen, and the year of production 1507. The barrel is probably made by Anders Pegnica. Mostly Pegnica's barrels are signed, but this one is not. But the shape and the decorations are very similar to the barrels signed by Anders Pegnica.
So, Jan, thank you very much for this tour. This was beautiful. And I will have to come back, so this will be not a long farewell. I will be sure that we'll meet again.
I'm looking forward for next visit.
Thank you very much.
Next
Thank you
visit,
very much.
yeah?
You're very kind.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you. Thank you. See you guys.
Yeah.